Hello and welcome to the DSR Daily for Thursday, June 5th. I'm your host for today, Riley Fessler, joined by Minna Stein. How are you, Minna?
Chilled to the bone by the news.
I guess, yeah, that's a pretty appropriate reaction despite the heat of DC. It's pretty chilling news.
hmm
Without further ado, why don't we just dive right in?
Just jump right in. President Donald Trump signed a proclamation banning nationals from 12 countries, including Afghanistan, Iran, and Somalia, from entering the US due to concerns over terrorism, poorly poor identity verification, and high visa overstay rates. Partial restrictions will also apply to citizens from 7 other nations, and the policy takes effect on June 9th of this year without affecting visas already issued. Trump defended the move as a national security measure, drawing criticism from some foreign officials and reviving immigration policies similar to his first term's travel bans. Um, this is like obviously it's all distraction under the guise of national security measure, all of these horrific moves, which are travel bans and are racially motivated in many instances, are just put under the guise of, oh, this is a national security measure. This is meant to protect you. And like, we're just supposed to accept that when it is it's like a see-through veil over what's really going on. So pretty disturbing stuff on this Thursday morning.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised it took this long to reinstitute travel bans. That was kind of a
Mm-hmm.
big, a big battle in the first administration, as long ago as that was. But in a way, I'm surprised that it took this long. So I'm not really surprised by the news, but obviously, still disappointing. Still not good policy.
Yeah.
Some would say bad policy, but this is pretty much par for the course for this administration, so no one should really be too surprised.
No.
Well, some positive news, kind of. A Guatemalan man identified as OCG, who was deported to Mexico despite a U.S. judge's order protecting him from removal, has been returned to the United States, where he was taken into ICE custody. The man, who is gay and feared persecution in both Guatemala and Mexico, had been wrongly deported by the Trump administration in what a judge described as lacking due process. After Mexico returned him to Guatemala, the U.S. approved a parole packet allowing his reentry due to legal proceedings. His case is one of several in which federal courts have ruled against unlawful deportations carried out during the Trump administration. Uh, Not great that he's in ICE custody again, but good that he's been brought back to the U.S. A rare case of this administration actually following a court order. Hopefully, this is a sign of what's to come, of them capitulating to these court orders. I wouldn't hold my breath, but we'll see. A positive development, one I actually am kind of surprised by. So happy to see that this happened. Hopefully, he gets the due process he is owed.
I appreciate you lightening the mood a bit with some positive news, for once. And moving on to another story that's less happy, the US Department of Education has accused Columbia University of violating Title VI of the Civil Rights Act by failing to adequately address anti Semitic harassment of Jewish students following Hamas's October 7th attack on Israel. As a result, Columbia's accreditation status is under review, which could impact its access to federal funding, including student aid. Columbia has responded by affirming its commitment to combating anti-Semitism and said it is working with both the accrediting body and the federal government to address the concerns. Not good. Federal government attacking universities and trying to limit free speech and free access to education under the guise of combating anti Semitism, which obviously they are not trying to do. And it is a very disgusting scapegoating of Jewish students, in my opinion, saying that they're going to try to protect them when in fact they're not protecting them. They're just using that as an excuse to attack our education system in the United States. And that's very disappointing to see. Disappointing and scary.
Yep. I have nothing to add. I think you hit. I think you hit the nail on the head.
All the talking
Um,
points.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the administration's war on the most elite universities in our nation will be a tragic mistake, both for them and for the country. You're going after places with some of the most high-profile alumni in the
Mhm.
country. And with Harvard, especially in the case of lawyers, and in Columbia as well. So I think it's a mistake for them, and I think, of course, it only damages the country to go after these institutions. But it's just a continuation of what we've already seen, and I'm sure it will not stop.
Absolutely. I agree.
Well, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz will meet President Trump at the White House today to discuss conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East, as well as escalating trade tensions. This marks Merz's first visit to Washington since taking office in May, as Germany seeks to avoid steep U.S. tariffs and demonstrate its commitment to the transatlantic alliance. Merz, a conservative former banker, faces the challenge of navigating Trump's confrontational style while promoting a collaborative relationship. His recent efforts include bolstering Germany's military and supporting Ukraine, key issues in the evolving U.S. Germany partnership. We'll see how this goes. The last couple of state visits have not gone great for the visitors. Hopefully this one will be a little bit less confrontational, but I don't even know. It's hard to even predict what will happen at these. It depends kind of what Trump's mood is that day. But we'll see. Something to keep an eye on. It's happening today, so I'm sure we'll have something to say about it tomorrow.
I feel like these meetings go one of two ways. They're neither in the middle. They're never in the middle. It's either like we fell in love and they're like holding hands and like kissing, like
Yeah,
with Emmanuel Macron, or it's like an attack and it's like a setup
yeah,
of how this is horrible and you hurt my feelings and you never say thank you and I don't know. I
yeah.
feel like it's going to go one way.
Trump reminds me of the Batman villain Two Face, and I imagine he's just
Definitely.
flipping a coin before these meetings. And if it's the scratch side, a la Two Face, then he's going to go full attack mode. And if it's heads, he is going to be their best friend. So we'll see what side the coin lands on today.
Hmm.
But your guess is as good as mine. I would at least predict that it won't be as combative as with Cyril Ramaphosa and Volodymyr Zelensky.
Mhm.
But I don't know. It could be.
And you never will know until it happens. Well, our last story for today, President Trump has ordered an investigation into whether former President Biden's aides used an auto pen to conceal his alleged cognitive decline and improperly exercised presidential authority. The probe, involving Trump's legal counsel and Attorney General Pam Bondi, aims to uncover any efforts to mislead the public about Biden's mental fitness, including the use of pre recorded videos and public statements by staff. This politically charged move follows Biden's withdrawal from the 2024 race and comes amid Republican efforts to shift focus from economic concerns and Trump's declining poll numbers. Yeah, I had to look up what an auto pen was because I didn't know. And it's like basically an aid to help sign things. So he doesn't have to do it by hand. It's more
I'm
like a,
guessing a lot of administrations do that.
including Trump. Trump also,
Like,
so
I don't know.
it's
This is
not
obviously a
uncommon.
distraction. I don't think anybody really gives a shit at this
No.
point. I mean, I think it's pretty clear that there was some concealment of his cognitive decline. I don't even really think a lot of Democrats would deny that at this point. But
Yeah.
who cares? He's not the president anymore, and he
It's not.
hasn't been for some time. And I've been meaning to rant about this before, but I'm a big YouTube guy. I watch a lot of YouTube, and I keep getting so many ads bashing Joe Biden, and I'm like, he's not the president. Like, who are
Mhm.
these ads for? It's ads talking about how Joe Biden and his team of lawyers attacked Donald Trump, and I'm like, the election was months ago.
Mhm.
Why are we still running these ads attacking Joe Biden, who hasn't been the president for months?
Because they need a villain. Even in their
It's
press briefings, they're attacking.
It's so
Biden,
sad.
blaming everything on him. But I also think, like, I'm not saying this makes it okay by any means. Like, that's not what I'm trying to say. But I also think if Trump wants and his team want to open an investigation into whether or not there was a concealment of his mental decline at the end of Biden's presidency, then they should also open an investigation into the decline of FDR in his last term, or
Ronald Reagan.
Reagan, or
Yeah.
like all of these presidents who had a severe mental decline and it was concealed from the public. Like, I'm not saying that makes it okay, but this definitely isn't the first time that that's happened.
Woodrow Wilson had a stroke his second term and was mostly nonverbal for part of his second term. So yeah, this certainly is
We should
not.
open an investigation into that as well.
I'm not saying it's good. It's bad.
No, I'm not saying it's good
It
either.
shouldn't happen. But what is the punishment if it turns out they
Right.
concealed his mental decline? So what? Like, is I don't think that's illegal, is it? So I don't really
My
get
my
the
point is
only.
just that, like, this has happened. It will happen. If Trump is in mental decline or becomes in mental decline, like, they will conceal that also. Like, it just happens.
The
And that
only
doesn't make it good, but like, what are we supposed to do about it? Open an investigation into Woodrow Wilson's stroke? Like, we just
there
move on. They're
the
not the
only point
presidents anymore.
the only point at which it would become a legal issue is if he literally was unable to make decisions, because there is a chain of command for that
Right.
exact scenario. But barring that, if it's just that he's old, and his mind is going, which I think we could all see with our eyes and hear, um, what does it matter now? The time for action on that has long passed. It's clearly distraction.
Yeah.
Like you said, they need a villain. So might as well trot out Joe Biden. It's like how they were talking about Hillary and Russiagate well into the first Trump administration, because they only have a couple notes and they're going to play those as much as they can. But
Hmm.
I don't know. I guess I'm curious what the investigation turns up, but I don't think it's going to be anything that really surprises anyone.
No.
I mean, is it what Jake Tapper on tour
That's what
right
I was
now
that's what
with
I was
his
just gonna
book
say.
about
Like,
this?
that's what I was just gonna say. Like, if you actually want to do an investigation into this, like, go read Jake Tapper's book and like call it a day.
Yeah, it's nothing that was surprising. It's stuff that we all knew what was going on. But you know, whatever. We'll see what happens. I just could not care less about this
No,
investigation. But
just
I'm sure segments of the base will gobble it up as they do anything that Trump does. So
yeah.
they will be happy about this. I don't think anybody else will really care as the economy continues to resemble a roller coaster. Well, on that note, that's all we've got today. Very fun and positive, but that's how it is. We'll be back tomorrow for our paid members for our weekly roundup and a look ahead. I apologize to our public listeners, but you'll have to wait until Sunday to listen to that episode. Or, and this is my preferred solution, you could become a member at the dsrnetwork.com/buy. Use code DSR2025 for a 40% discount. It is that easy. But to those of you who are not members, we will see you next week. But there's plenty more right here on the DSR Network today and tomorrow coming out. So stay tuned for all of that, and we will see you again soon. Until then, bye bye.